What if I tell you that there is a curse technique that can defeat both Gojo and Sukuna at the same time? I am damn serious, and it is called sugar manipulation. As simple as it may sound, but it's one of the strongest curse technique if used correctly. This dude Rin Amai has access to sugar manipulation. From the manga, the explanation of this power is, it's like I increase my sugar level and transform it into physical form. Then I get hypoglycemic and lightheaded. This CT has an incredibly diverse range of uses, including sugar-based idol transfiguration, throwing sugar-based structures like urame, and much more. If Rin had more cursed energy and enough training, I could easily see him becoming a grade 1. First of all, let's talk about healing and utility-based uses. Curse techniques use sugar in the brain, explained by Shoko in 261 and also proven as Gojo is addicted to sweets. If you only amplify the sugar in your brain and don't output it, you can utilize techniques while using little biological resources, kind of like the opposite of Gojo. This also works to increase energy during fights. Sugar has medicinal properties. Combining sugar with water can work as a painkiller. The food Rin created with his technique looked like pudding or flan, which has at maximum a sugar content by volume of 50%. And he can target Gojo via this food. As Gege has said, the inside of the body is like a domain, so he'd need to give someone a wound before channeling sugar through it, making it effectively a worse idol transfiguration when it comes to offense, which is still great. He could also attempt to feed the sugar through their mouth, but I imagine that it still follows the same body as a domain rules. Otherwise, Gojo could just spawn blues in people's mouths. So the sugar would still need to start outside of their mouth unless you wound the inside of their mouth. But based on what we know, his CT is partially idol transfiguration, touch to kill, partially blood manipulation, healing and reinforcing abilities without direct CE reinforcement, and RCT application, and partially construction, turning cursed energy to matter. Pushing the boundaries of this technique could enable an absurdly strong sorcerer with a better loadout than any of those techniques alone could manage. Now let's talk about combat-based uses. Poisoning. Rin never states an express limit on how much sugar he can output into another person. This means it should be possible for him to give others hyperglycemia or sugar toxicity, especially if he gives himself hypoglycemia. Symptoms of extreme hyperglycemia can include headaches, fatigue, blurred vision, vomiting, confusion, loss of balance, and if not treated can be fatal. This method of attack also will be hard to deal with using RCT, as RCT already has difficulty with toxins, and sugar barely falls into that range. Explosives. Sugar is a form of stored chemical energy, and so under the right conditions that energy can be released kinetically. Some forms of sugar, like powdered sugar, is flammable, and even smaller forms like granulated sugar dust will explode in the presence of sparks. If Rin carries around a lighter, he instantly becomes a threat. Other potential uses. This section is mostly headcanon, but based on what we know of the technique should be possible. Curse technique reversal. Should Rin learn RCT, the most obvious use for a reversal should be stealing other people's sugar from their body. This has combat potential for causing hypoglycemia, which can also be fatal if untreated and wouldn't be curable with RCT since it's a deficiency, not an injury or poisoning. Cellulose creation and manipulation. Cellulose is a sugar found in plants, formed through the linkages of hundreds of individual glucose molecules. While not stated what kind of sugar Rin creates, since he made food with it, it is safe to assume he outputs glucose. If he can refine his technique to link the sugars before outputting, he would be able to create all sorts of materials, such as paper, 99% cellulose, plastic, cellophane, 98% cellulose, plant fibers. Hemp is 70% cellulose, cotton is 90%, and maybe even wood as particle board, 40 to 50% cellulose. I shouldn't need to explain all the uses of these materials, but each of them can be valuable in and out of combat. I hope you can now see that with a higher CE pool, a few years at Jujutsu High, and with a smart mentor, anyone wielding this technique could easily become a powerhouse with just a little creativity. Thank you for watching. I would really appreciate if you can subscribe to the channel.